Hello and welcome to What If Ash Woke Up on Time? This is part 3 of our What If, and the journey continues. So without further ado, here we go. Ash and Brock would leave Saffron City and head to Lavender Town, home of the Pokemon Tower. Ash would enter the tower as Brock wouldn't. He's too scared to enter. The episode would play the same. But when Ash is about to leave, Hunter would be sad as it had so much fun with Ash and doesn't want Ash to leave. Ash would notice Hunter's sadness and would walk up to him. Ash would offer to catch Hunter. Hunter would be overjoyed to join Ash and would take a Pokeball right off his belt and would tap the middle, meaning Hunter is caught. Hunter would be sent back to Professor Oak's lab. Ash and Brock would head to the Pokemon Center. Ash would ask Professor Oak if he could send over Haunter if he sends back Kakuna. Oak would be perfectly fine with this, and just like that, Ash has Haunter on his team. Ash and Brock would head back to the gym, and Ash would re-challenge Sabrina. It's a 1v1 this time. Ash would send out Haunter, and Sabrina would send out Kadabra. Sabrina would order a Psychic, but Haunter would disappear into the ground and then come back up using Lick, which is super effective. Sabrina would order a Psycho Cut, but Ash would order a Sucker Punch, meaning it would connect first. It's a super effective hit. Kadabra is on the cusp of fainting, but Sabrina would order a Psychic. Haunter would disappear. Haunter would be gone for 5 minutes straight before appearing in Sabrina's face and making her laugh. Ash would be given the badge, but it's basically like he beat her, as one lick from Haunter and Kadabra would have been finished. Haunter would go with Ash as there's no reason to stay as it made Sabrina happy. Primeape Goes Bananas would change to Mankey Goes Bananas, as without Team Rocket, Mankey wouldn't evolve. Ash would catch Mankey and send it to Oak. Moving on to Celadon City, Ash and Brock would just head to the gym. There is no going to the perfume store because Misty isn't here. Ash challenges Erica with a team of Charmeleon, Pidgeotto, and Haunter. Ash sends out Haunter and Erica sends out Tangela. Haunter would joke around seeing its opponent. Haunter would fly over to it and stick its tongue out as a joke. Tangela would use Vine Whip, wrapping around Haunter's tongue, slamming it on the ground, like Luigi does in the new Luigi's Mansion 3 game. Haunter would disappear into the ground to get away, and then it would drop a big sludge bomb doing huge damage. Haunter would use Sucker Punch, getting the first win for Ash. Ash would send out Pidgeotto, and Erica would send out Weeping Bell. Pidgeotto would wait for an attack, and Weeping Bell would use Razor Leaf. Pidgeotto would dodge and then retaliate with a wing attack. The attack would hit Weeping Bell, but Weeping Bell uses Bite, grabbing onto Pidgeotto's wing. Pidgeotto would try to use Peck to get it off, which would work, but Weeping Bell would use a Razor Leaf, making Pidgeotto kinda weak. Ash would call for a wing attack, and Erica would call for a tackle. The two moves would clash with both Pokemon going down. Ash would send out his last Pokemon, Charmeleon, and Erica would send out Gloom. The battle would get heated, no pun intended, but that's when an explosion happens. It's Team Rocket, and they stole Erica's secret perfume. This would go the same, and the building would catch fire. Brock would use Geodude to help, and Ash would use Squirtle, but Squirtle wouldn't listen. Ash learns that Gloom is trapped inside the gym, so he runs in to save it. Ash finds Gloom and is about to get out when a part of the ceiling falls on Gloom and Ash. Ash covers Gloom, trying to protect it, but the impact would never come. Ash looks and he sees that it's his Geodude protecting them. He's holding the fallen piece of the ceiling, but it can't for long. Ash and Gloom get from underneath. Ash is about to call back Geodude, but that's when it loses its strength, and Geodude gets crushed. Ash would look as Geodude is nowhere to be seen. It was crushed, and maybe even worse, dead. Ash would try to run to the rebel and lift it up, but the fire would grow blocking him from getting close. Ash could do nothing. That's when light starts to emit from under the rubble, and it begins to crack. Ash would rub the tears out of his eyes, looking at the dust clear as a bigger, round figure would appear. It was a Graveler. Geodude had evolved to save itself and Ash. Graveler would walk to Ash as Ash would hug it. Graveler would grab Ash, letting him ride his head as it picked up Gloom. The three would emerge as Erica is overjoyed to see her Pokemon. Brock would be surprised to see a Graveler. The episode would play out the same with Ash receiving the Rainbow Badge. The next few episodes would play out pretty much the same. The Fighting Grand Prix would play out sort of the same. Ash uses a Mankey instead of a Primate. Mankey would have tough fights, but the toughest is definitely against a Machamp. Mankey would be immediately overpowered. Mankey would be thrown around like a rag doll. That's when it gets so mad and wants to win for Ash's sake while still protecting its pride. It evolves and now sort of listens to Ash. And with that power boost, Primeape is able to take down Machamp and win the Grand Prix. Ash would still let Primeape train, but instead of making an empty promise, Primeape would actually be a recurring character of Ash's team, unlike the anime. Ash and Brock would carry on their way to Fuchsia Gym. After a while, they would finally get through the tricks of the gym. Ash would make it to the battle room where he faces the mysterious green-haired girl who says she's the gym leader. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm sorry it was so short. I just wanted to put out something because I feel so bad after not putting out anything for a month. Anyway, Happy New Year, and I hope you have a great year. See you later.